I'm probably like 5 years late to this, but I'm giving into that pumpkin spice trend, mostly because it's delicious. So I decided to come up with an ice cream recipe. I'm kind of glad that I did because this pumpkin spice recipe tastes awesome. Let's do it. So first thing first, this recipe, it's borderline keto because it's got a bunch of dairy in it, and we know dairy has a little bit of carbs, as does pumpkin puree, so this is a treat. I'm keeping it in my freezer. We want to heat up the milk in a pan. Exact proportions really don't matter because this is really more of a custard. And because it's got so many egg yolks in it, the consistency is going to be the same. Equal proportions, milk and creamer. And I'm making a pretty big batch, so I'm going to use about 8 egg yolks. You don't want any of those egg whites in there, too much protein. We want the fat from the eggs. And you'll notice while I was cracking these egg yolks into this pan here, the milk started frothing until it starts to bubble up. As soon as it froths, turn the heat off. And we're gonna start making our pumpkin spice seasoning. Just kidding. I got all the things to make pumpkin spice, but Trader Joe's makes a really convenient, perfectly tasting pumpkin spice seasoning already. So we're gonna use some of that. Once again, doesn't matter how much you use 2 tablespoons. I would recommend. I only use 1. It could be a little bit more pumpkin spicy. In goes the pumpkin puree. And keep the rest of this can because next week we're going to be making a pumpkin bread and you're going to need the other half of this can to do it. Wow, this is awesome. Keep an eye out for that video next week. Next, the sweetener of your choice, how much you want, depends on how sweet you want your ice cream. You could elect to use no sweetener. Pumpkin puree is already kind of sweet on its own. I'm using allulose. You could use Swerve, erythritol, whatever you want to use. I don't even know if I'm pronouncing that right. Now it's time to mix in the hot milk into our egg mixture, and we have to temper it first, which means we just throw a little splash in while we're stirring. Once that's thoroughly stirred in, we can slowly incorporate the rest of the milk mixture into the custard, stirring the whole time so we don't create scrambled pumpkin flavored eggs because that's gross. Then it's back on the heat. We're gonna do a low heat. We're gonna stir the whole time until it becomes nappy, which is French for to coat. Classic way to tell when custard is done is if it can coat the back of a spoon. And then we're gonna run it through a fine strainer to make sure we get any chunks out that may have formed while we were reducing this down. And now it's just a waiting game. We're gonna put it in the freezer. We're gonna pull it out once or twice between now and the next 24 hours. And we're gonna give it a quick stir. I only had to pull it out once and stir it. And then the next day, dang, this looked good. It's something else to be able to eat something as sweet and delicious as this on the ketogenic diet. Don't eat this whole container. Guys, please share this with someone you know that would love it. You know they would love it. As always, keep it keto. Peace.